Once upon a time, Europe used to be the hub or the epicenter of global conflicts. But the post New World Order establishments, what we have seen, a paradigm shift. Europe still the hub of conflict, but for Europe only. Now we have got a different geographical location, and it's Middle East, that in the 21st century has become the hub of the global conflict. Whether you are coming from west or from east or from southeast, wherever you're coming from, Middle East is an important location for you. Obviously, it's because of the abundance of crude oil there in the Middle East. And so because of which has existed many governments as well as parallel governments. Parallel governments as in once upon a time, these people used to be the private militias, the terrorists basically, but they grew so large, so strong that they overthrew the government itself, and now they do take care of the taxation policy, education, business, ministries, departments, and every single thing. So we have got many names from Taliban, that is now officially the government of Afghanistan since last 4 years. We have got ISIS, that is taking care of many of the oil wells of Syria as well as Libya and Iran. And now we have got this one particular name with us. These are known as Houthis. The name basically that you have encountered quite a long time, quite a number of times, numerous times in your newspapers, in your current affairs and so on. But exactly are we aware who are Houthis? No worries, guys. Don't worry. You are watching StudyIQ as English. My name is Praveen Mishra, and I welcome you all to this program that is a StudyIQ Global, where we shall be discussing all the important international organizations, events, as well as incidences that has shaped the modern world and is also part of your core UPSC prelims as well as main syllabus, and on which depends your interview examination, your interview test, that is your personality test as well. So guys, here we are discussing about these people, Houthis. Who are Houthis? Just a rebel group? Are they simply what we can call them? Or the regional game changer as they call themselves? Well, this is not just a militia. They are Middle East's most unpredictable and very powerful firepower. They do have their own army, their own drone system, their own missiles. And once again, as I stated a minute back, they do possess their own ministries, departments, their own taxation policy, education policy, and so on. That means once upon a time a militant and now a government. This is what Houthis are. So let's talk about their origin and ideology. So if you see the exact name here, their original name is Ansar Allah. Ansar Allah, that is basically the partisans of God, founded in early 1990s in northern Yemen, Sada province, by the founder Hussein Badruddin al-Houthi, from whom the government gets its name, that is al-Houthi, right? The government, the movement, whatever you can say. So it's basically Houthis. They are the sectarian base coming from the Zaidi Shia Muslims, a minority section, okay, a minority sect where in Yemen. And remember, there is another very prominent group in northern Yemen and nearing the Iran areas as well, that is known as the 12er Shias. 12er Shias are different. Do not combine them with Houthis. They are totally different. Okay, many of the time people have this misconception that, oh, that 12er Shias of Iran, okay, they are the descendants of Houthis. No, they are not. They don't have anything, okay, to do with themselves. Okay, they are totally different. They are poles apart basically in the customs, traditions, as well as faith and belief. Okay, so what they are a tribe. What is the name? Zaidi. And we have got, two distinction in the Islam, that is Shia Muslims and Sunni Muslims. So they do come from the Shia sect. So they are basically a tribe known as the Zaidi tribe, where in Yemen. And now let's talk about their motivation. Initially in 90s, it was a cultural revivalist movement to protect the Zaidi identity against some other Islamic movements like Safavi or Salafi or Wahhabism. Basically what we have in India in the name of Devband movement. Okay, Middle East was having Wahhabi movement or even the Salafi movement that originated from Islam only but had bits of or tits and bits of different faiths and beliefs. Okay, that was actually moving away from the original Islamic beliefs, as these people say. As these people say. Okay, right? So initially a revivalist movement to protect the Zaidi identity against whom? Against the ongoing movements like Salafi and Wahabi, okay, backed by Saudi Arabia, obviously, and gradually it transformed into a political military insurgency against the ongoing or the present incumbent government of Yemen. So you can see they initiated their organization as a cultural protection organization for the sake of protection of the Zaidi identity. But sooner they grew so large that they were now a political military working against the state government of Yemen. And if you see their slogan, how deadly and how ruthless it is. So here we have, God is great, no doubt. Death to America. Why? Death to Israel. No sense. Curse on Jews and victory to Islam. Why not? Right? So their slogan, if you can see the ideological slogan, God is great, death to America, death to Israel, curse to the Jews, and victory to Islam. I do agree with the first and with the last for sure. Why not victory to any religion? God is great. Yes, no question in that. But why do you have hatred against Israel, America? And why are you having this hatred against the Jews? That's still an answer yet to be given. Right? Now we talk about the organization structure and its working. So leadership, it is currently led by Abdul Malik al-Houthi. Okay, after the death of Hussein al-Houthi in 2004. Okay, so presently he is the leader. What's the name? Abdul Malik al-Houthi. And the core leadership is from the al-Houthi family only. And they do work like a government itself. They have their own, strong military with guerrilla tactics, the drones, missiles, and so on. So basically, they have got literally everything with themselves. And they do control the northwestern Yemen, including its capital city, Sana'a, since 2014, more than a decade. And they operate as a de facto state with taxation, courts, education, propaganda networks, and every single thing. Basically, it's the established government in Yemen with the worst humanitarian crisis. 70% of the Yemeni people, they do rely on the humanitarian aid sent to them by the international organizations as well as different countries. And they are the government there, the so-called Houthis. So this area, near you can see the Bab al-Mandaf or the Gulf of Aden as well. It's the junction area of the hub, the junction area or the hub area of the trade of Middle East. And here the Houthis are sitting, I think, uselessly. This is my opinion. Let's talk about the support system, how they are running their government. Means obviously, Yemen hit with the worst humanitarian crisis. It's not like Yemeni people, they are living a good life. No, they are not. 70%, as I stated, as per the UN reports. This is the United Nations report that 70% of the Yemenis, they do rely on the aid sent to them. That means the government is of no use, waste, useless. So how they are running their government? So the domestic support, strong backing among the Zaidi tribes, obviously in the northern Yemen. And popularity rose due to the opposition to corruption, inequality, as well as the foreign intervention, especially Saudi intervention in Yemen. And don't worry, guys, I understand you might be having this question in your mind. What's the exact conflict between Saudi and Iran, Saudi and Yemen? Okay, so as I stated, StudyIQ Global, this one particular program will be providing you all the detailed information required for you, for your understanding, for your insights, for your knowledge, okay, related to your UPSC CSE preparation. So in the very next session that we shall be coming, okay, we will be discussing about the conflict, why there is a conflict between Saudi Arabia and Iran, Saudi Arabia and Yemen, and so on, right? Okay, so why Saudi was supporting the existing government in Yemen against which the Houthis rose to power. Okay, and so external support. The most controversial thing here is the Iran's support to Yemen, basically the Saudis. So Iran is widely believed to supply arms, training, and funding and ideological backing. Basically, Houthis use Iranian-style slogans and strategies. And UN report confirms the arms shipment, including drones and ballistic missiles, from Iran to Yemen. And just like Hezbollah of Lebanon, they are working in the very same way, provided training and tactical advice. So they are having the global support from Iran as well as from Lebanon. So from Iran, it is the government. From Lebanon, it is the existing militant group, the militia, the terrorist group, basically the Hezbollah, right? Now, the next big thing here, the conflict between Saudi Arabia and Iran. Critics argue Houthis are Iran's proxy in its regional rivalry with Saudi Arabia. It is what critics have stated. Iran has openly denied any such allegations, and so far, apart from some US reports that too are not very widely accepted by multiple governments, okay, we don't have any multiple, or let's say any concrete proof to support this part. So it is what the arguments of the critics that Houthis are what? Iran's proxy in its regional rivalry with Saudi Arabia. And so here is the big thing. The conflicts they have created in the Middle East. So the major actions and role in conflicts with related or with regard to the Houthis. So early insurgency between 2004 to 2009 in the whole of Yemen. Apart from that, series of wars against Yemen government, especially against the then president Ali Abdullah Saleh. Then apart from that, the biggest one, they were one of the major elements or the Magna Carta of 2011 Arab Spring. And yes, Houthis participated in uprisings, expanded influence of ISIS and ISIL in the whole of Middle East. And further, they captured Sana'a, the capital city, and forced the then president Hadi to flee from his own home country. And yes, it triggered Saudi-led coalition intervention in 2015 when Saudi Arabia decided to restore the President Hadi's power in Yemen, obviously. And so here we can see war with Saudi-led coalition. 2015 until present, it's going on. So Saudi Arabia, along with UAE and its allies, launched Operation Decisive Storm to restore Hadi's government. Right? Hadi's government. So what happened after 2015, when this one particular group known as Houthi took over the government of Yemen, and President Hadi had to take exile. So Hadi reached a place in UAE somewhere, not yet disclosed. There, he approached the Saudi government as well as the UAE to provide him the asylum or support, something like that. But for which Saudi and UAE, they both thought that if Yemen falls into the hands of these so-called militants known as, or the terrorist group basically known as Houthi, they might take control of Bab al-Mandab, which shall provide a huge level of disturbance into the trade, as it is the hub of the trade. Specifically talk about the Gulf of Aden and the other straits present there. There are many important ports. So if these Houthis, they do take control of such ports, obviously they will disrupt the trade that will ultimately disrupt the economy of the developing nations, specifically Saudi and UAE. So obviously, this time Saudi and UAE, they decided, let's launch a offensive operation that's known as Operation Decisive Storm, just in order to vanish away or just, dethrone these so-called Houthis and restore the power of President Hadi. So obviously, Houthis, they do retaliated with missiles and drones on Saudi oil facilities, which was not expected by the Saudi as well as the UAE-led government. The coalition, that they never thought that they might be having such type of state-of-the-art advanced warfare tactics or the systems with themselves, basically the weapons. And then the investigation told that Iran is the bread giver or basically the feeder to the Houthis so-called. Right? And then it was decided by Saudi as well as UAE to not indulge directly into the war, but let's go ahead with proxy. And let's gather the international support, and then let's dethrone this so-called Houthis from the government of Yemen, specifically in the city of Sana'a. But 11 years later, still Saudi and UAE, they have failed. Specifically right now, I think they're not even much interested, as they can see Iran's growing power, as well as the last nail into the coffin, which is already given by Iran to the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action that is popularly known as Iran Nuclear Deal. When America is not able to just subjugate or dominate Iran, then how Saudi alone and UAE alone will do? And so I think they have given up their shoes with regard to this one particular thing, that is Houthi. And then we have got the Red Sea crisis just a year back, 2023, 2024. Houthis began targeting the commercial shipping in the Red Sea, obviously. That's why they took control of the whole of Yemen. To pressurize, obviously, Israel during the Gaza conflict. And this disrupted one of the busiest shipping routes, and it spiked the global oil prices to spike as well, right? So obviously, this organization needs to be eliminated. And now here comes the international community's response, how they responded. So they have just responded on paper so far. US brokered the ceasefire somehow in 2018, known as the Stockholm Agreement. Then, as you can see, it also provided humanitarian aid to the Yemen country, world's worst humanitarian crisis, as stated by US itself as well as UN. So we have got Houthis. They do accused of, they accused basically these UN and US officials of spreading more hate and disturbance inside the whole of the Yemen again. So somehow UN decided to go ahead with a ceasefire that's known as Stockholm Agreement, but that didn't work. And then comes in another lunatic, US. At that time again, it was Donald J. Trump on the throne or the seat or the chair of the President of the United States. So Lebanon Houthis, a foreign terrorist organization. Okay, so it's basically Donald Trump. What he did? He just labeled Houthis as a foreign terrorist organization in the year 2021 before leaving the seat of the US president. Okay, Biden removed this designation to ensure humanitarian aid flow, but later reimposed sanctions after Red Sea attacks in 2024. And then US and UK have conducted airstrikes on Houthis' position in Yemen. Right? So you can see the international response. Initially, US labeled Donald J. Trump, labeled Houthis as what? The FTO, foreign terrorist organization. After he stepped out, when Joe Biden came in as the next president of US, okay, so what happened? These things happens. We talk about terrorists now, so lights, sometimes they will work like this. Okay, so Donald J. Trump labeled Houthis as FTO, foreign terrorist organization. Joe Biden removed this tag so that, there isn't any conflict in Yemen and the humanitarian aid could flow, as he stated like this. But, that's not the reality. Later on in 2024, after the Red Sea as well as the other conflict with regard to Gaza, okay, when it took too cruel route, okay, then Joe Biden was compelled to just label the Houthis again as a terrorist group, okay, and then comes in the US and UK. Well, it's about the organization that is known as AUKUS, AUKUS. Australia, United Kingdom, and United States. As you can see, United States is already there, and US and UK, so AUKUS, okay, it has been now coming here, okay, conducted the airstrikes on Houthi positions in Yemen. So you will see that, sir, there is no Australia, but yes, Australia was not the front-end player, but the back-end player, deploying its submarine near the Strait of the Cape of Good Hope and Soware areas, okay, as the intel reports have suggested. So Australia has deployed its own submarine somewhere near the Cape of Good Hope, okay, that is the edge of South Africa, the southernmost edge, what we can say, of the African continent, okay, and from there it was supposed to reach somewhere near the Horn of Africa, something like that, just in order to create a blockage for some other countries that might come in support of Iran as well as Yemen. Basically, it was for the targeting of the countries like Russia and China. So Australia was not at the front end, but Australia was there in the back end. And at the front, it was US and UK. They both conducted airstrikes where on Houthis' position in Yemen, right? So this is how international community has reacted. And now comes in the Saudi Arabia and Gulf states. So it led coalition wars since 2015, accused Houthis of being Iran's proxy, and no peace has been established so far. Literally, so far, no direct peace has been established. Okay, guys, so I hope this is all clear with regard to the Houthis. You should be having no specific doubt within yourself, and just remember the strategic importance, the geopolitical location. So this Yemen lies on the Bab al-Mandab Strait, and it's basically the choke point between Red Sea and Gulf of Aden, and it's key for oil and global trade conflicts. Or sorry, the roots, not conflicts. Then the proxy conflicts, part of Saudi Arabia versus Iran rivalry, and it mirrors the Sunni-Shia divide in West Asia. And also, it raises the questions on United Nations Conventions on the Laws of the Sea, UNCLOS, that how a militant group can just provide a barricade to you when it comes to what? Your international laws. Neither the countries are planning to obey, and you can see the parallel governments, the private governments of the militant groups. They are just thrashing and thwarting your so-called laws every single day. So it's a question on the international community that their laws are being violated by just a group of people, militias. Why are you still not able to suppress them? Why are you still not able to launch the counteroffensive measures and win against them? You can broker, you can broke out the deal or ceasefire, as you have stated, between India and Pakistan, between India and China, between Pakistan and Afghanistan, between Iran and Saudi, between Israel and Palestine, between Russia and Ukraine, as well as what? The West, specifically the city of Washington, D.C., has always claimed. But is it the reality? Why so, even after 15 years of continuous conflict? Why the West? Why the East? Why the Europe? Why the Middle East great powers? Why the whole of United Nations? They have failed to broker a peace deal as well as reestablish peace and tranquility in Yemen. When was the last time you heard about the Yemenis people being killed? When was the last time you heard about the humanitarian crisis in Yemen? They have highlighted a lot about Gaza. I'm not saying that Gaza doesn't need highlight. It needs, and it has been given with much importance and impetus. But what about Yemen? What about the city of Sana'a? It's capital city, but it's destroyed, devastated, dilapidated. Total destruction, total overdose has taken in Yemen. And where are the people those who stepped out on the streets with candle march, placards in their hand to save the humans, to save the humanity from the Satan, from the evil? I don't think so they are even aware where Yemen falls. I don't think so they are even aware that what's going in Yemen, right? So this is what, the narratives we have been the victims of. Right, everyone? So this is it with regard to the first episode known as StudyIQ Global. And this was about who are Houthis. So I think you have got all the clear picture with regard to who are Houthis. And this is me, Praveen Mishra, signing off for the day. So guys, remember what we have got for you. The last batch of the year 2026 UPSC IS English, okay, about to commence from 24th of September. That is by tomorrow only. So quickly enroll yourself, guys, in English medium, bilingual, whatever your language is with regard to the preparation of UPSC CSE. Remember, we have got this resolution plus batches for you with 1000 plus hours of live lectures, 18 books sent to you at your doorstep, teachers' personal class notes given to you in the PDF format, prelims test series, mains test series, interview guidance program, prelims residential program, mains residential program, 1:1 mentorship, everything under one single subscription. What you need with yourself is just one promo code. So guys, please note down this promo code. It's PRV Live. So whatever course you are taking on, whatever subscription you are taking on the StudyIQ portal, StudyIQ platform, you can use this promo code to avail the maximum possible discount. Okay, that is known as PRV Live. And guys, remember, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button of our channel, StudyIQ IC English. And in case you wish to connect with me, so here is my Telegram channel that is named as Praveen_StudyIQ. This is the QR code. You can just scan and connect with me here. Or else you can also ping me on my Instagram that is named as Praveen Mishra_2107. Here it is. Okay, guys, so thank you so much for watching. Please do let me know your opinion into the comment section as well. And very soon we shall be coming up with the very next video regarding related to the Iran-Saudi Arabia conflict and other international events that are quite confusing but also mesmerizing on the same part, but we don't have the clear insights on the same. So guys, just please hit the subscribe button, stay tuned, and never miss an update from the channel. See you soon. Bye bye. Good day. Take care. Jai Hind. Jai Bharat.